Da 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 da. He da 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 dee. Oops. Oops. Stage number 1 done, folks. I might actually turn the music off. Just give it a couple of more minutes. If anyone's dropping in, hello. This is Stream Elements. Thank you for... Oh, thank you. Tomb Z7. Thank you very much indeed. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our quiet and chilled little corner of Twitch. Delighted to have you here. Hope you're well. I'm sorry when I'm on the phone. Sadly, the various clever spangly lights don't quite work for reasons I don't yet know. But thank you, very, very kind. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know what? The pleasure's all mine. In fact, Tomb, I think you may be my 50th follower. So an incredibly large thank you to you. You have tipped me just over the edge and towards that elusive goal of affiliateness. Affiliateness? Affiliate status, I think we call it. But obviously, I hope you like our content. I hope you feel chilled and relaxed here. And love from Discord. Happy to be here. You're a star. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think all that's left now is the average viewership. It's lovely because it's been so organic, and because I've been just popping in and out of Discord and coming and seeing people, and in fact I shall make sure absolutely I can do likewise for you. I shall see you when you stream. In case you're interested, what we're doing is, well, the first method of the pork is I'm doing a home cure. In fact, I've forgotten the seasoning. All this is, in case you fancy it, and this is a great one if they've ever got... Oh, hang on, let me turn the music off. It's a bit loud. Hang on a sec. Highly technical here. Spotify, and I hit the pause button. Very clever. If you ever go around a supermarket and they've got pork steaks for sale, have I seen the movie Chef? I haven't, 6Ween5. What's it about? I'm going to hazard a guess. There's some cooking involved. I shall have a look afterwards. Do tell me though. What's involved? You're Johnny Quitter. I will do that. I certainly will. But gents, if you ever fancy it, if you're going around a supermarket, what you need to do is just pick them up when they're on reduced. And it works with beef and it works with pork. Oh, you're a star, Toom. Thank you very much. Yes, there is. If you're ever going around, grab them, because even if they're not the best quality, get yourself an even balance of cooking salt and sugar. I've used 150 of each. It's a good movie. I should give it a watch. 6Ween, recommendation taken. I will go and I shall watch it with great joy. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful. And all we do, and this is a great way to use meat which people will otherwise pass by, is we're just going to seal it up, pop it in the fridge for 15 minutes. And this works as well for, say, for example, a ribeye steak, or maybe a less excellent cut of steak if you obviously eat meat. If you don't buy meat. And then it works for beef, it works for pork. It just gives it an incredibly tender texture, this. So that's our first of our discount pork steaks going in the fridge. And we will take that out in the middle of the stream and we will see how it works with pork, because I've never done it with pork before. So it's going to be quite interesting. So that's our cured. The next we're going to do is we're going to prep the marinade for a Korean stir fry. In fact, actually, 6Ween, before I forget, the Chef movie, what year is it? Is there more than one? Am I going to find it quite easily? So just because we're basically pampering these down and we're going to get them marinated, there wasn't really any need for the long strip of fat. But that'll be one of the methods we use with the pork to try and use absolutely every element of it. So, then, grab yourself just a sharp knife. Obviously, if you like the fat, you could leave it on. And in fact, if you like belly pork, for example, these again, they ended up costing me about 20p a steak, this, which is ridiculously good value. So if you just chop, 2014 by Jon Favreau. Oh, he's the chap that did Cowboys and Aliens, wasn't it? With Daniel Craig. Have I got that right? That was a terribly funny film. So yes, it's the same principle. If you like the fat, you could do a slow cooked version of this where you end up with thin slices there and you keep the fat and it ends up being, in effect, nice belly pork. We're going for a stir fry with vegetables. We've already, in fact, steamed with our rice steamer our sushi rice. So that's actually already behind me and ready to go. So just grab yourself a sharp knife, trim off the excess here. Jolly good. Right. Thank you, 6Ween. I shall definitely... What made you think of that? Is it just because we're cooking? I'm always here for good film recommendations. In fact, some of our regulars, who I think are off tonight, we have an ongoing debate about the enjoyment of The Lord of the Rings and not, which can occasionally cause So some interesting twists. Oh goodness, I've got 2 more followers. I missed the first one. Noskier, thank you very much. Can I scroll this without blowing up the phone? I'm something of the 1800s when it comes to technology, I'm afraid. And I will occasionally stop it working. Justice Gameplays, thank you as well. Thank you very, very much to everyone. You've all been very wonderful coming from the Discord chat, and it's been a genuine pleasure because I've been at work a lot recently. So I've not been able to stream half as much, but I've been able to come in and put the channels on in the background whilst I'm actually doing what needs to be done. And Noskier, hello, welcome. Thank you for following us. Thank you for joining our little calm and chilled corner of Twitch. You are very, very welcome indeed. Welcome in. What was I saying? That was it. The Discord chaps have been marvellous. It's been lovely just to see everyone sort of helping and supporting each other. Really very lovely. So it's been a pleasure to watch you all. I'm glad now to be here myself with a little bit of impromptu cooking. Noske, in case you missed the start, we are doing pork a number of different ways. We are moving on now to, thanks to Mrs. Owl, who is currently just, she's had a long day, it's boiling hot here, she's just taking a quick shower and freshening up, but a fan of all things Korean, and she's certainly brought me around to their ways of thinking on a number of things. So what we're going to do with the strips here is do a Korean marinade, as far as we're able. We live off in the deep countryside of the United Kingdom. I don't know where everyone else is from, but we are a very multicultural community. You're all welcome, no matter where. So we can't get a hold of all the ingredients. So I'm missing, particularly, gochujang paste, which is unfortunate. But we're going to make do. We will improvise. We shall adapt, as that gentleman, Mr. Bear Grylls, frequently yells at people that they should do. Although I think they possibly don't pan behind him and see the massive camera crew and support truck. But never mind. We'll just skirt over that little note there. So, again, the reason that I advocate things like this is it's ridiculously easy to do. And it's the thing that always upsets me. It's such a shame when you go around a supermarket and cuts of meat are being left behind because they're on reduced. There's so much you can do with them so quickly. Oh, Noska, thank you very much. Honestly, I'm not professionally trained, I hasten to add. It's just a very foodie family. And I have to very much thank, of course, we all learn from different places, but my mother and father were fairly instrumental. Ozzy, hello. Thank you for following us. Welcome. You are very welcome. Yes, this is there aren't many bangs and whistles here. It's not a place to relax. This is probably the place. You are most welcome. I'm glad you've joined us. So let me see. A lot of this, it doesn't. At this point, they were 20p a steak. So it's a case of saying, well, let's use them. Let's use them best we can. And if you lose a little bit, I mean, you could technically keep that, but it's not the best bit. So we'll just lose that. In fact, truth be told, we might be able to. Let's keep them to one side. Let's see what we can do with them. Are we removing the fat? We are. You can definitely leave it. In fact, there's one steak to go, and I'll demonstrate why, Noski. If you fancied instead of doing you'll take. I'll give the game away. I tell you what, I'll leap a couple of stages ahead. I've kept this. What I'm going to do is, just in a second, we're going to flatten it out, a bit of a rolling pin moment. We're going to score it, we're going to season it, and then we're going to attempt to turn it into crackling. That's why I've got the oven on my right. This is going to be Korean stir fry. This last one is going to be seasoned with sage primarily because, in fact, I've got meaty hands. I'll get it out in a minute. We do fermentation here and curing and other bits and pieces and pickling, and we have a homemade apple and sage butter, which has no butter in it. It's effectively a stewed apple. So if you think NWKB, hello, good to have you here. I guess I've already been enjoying your content. It's been lovely to see. So I'm going to do that. It's effectively going to be one pork steak as a roast dinner. So, but we're going to leave that as it is because, in fact, we're not actually. I tell a lie to all you lovely folk who've just come to join us. I'm going to score it whilst I'm here before I forget. So that, again, quite easy. This, all you saw I was doing there, in case anyone wants to try it, is you just run the blade gently. You don't, if I can show the camera, if it shows well enough, I don't want to run it all the way down. You're just making small incisions. And then ideally speaking, since I've run it that way, I'm going to turn it over, I'm going to run it the other way. So in effect, if you were to turn it to and from, you'd have basically a diamond lattice going through. And we're just going to season the edge. Hopefully that will crisp up nicely. We'll season the rest of it and just let that one cook naturally. But for now we have the marinade to contend with. So, you'll pardon me, gentlemen and good ladies, if I turn my back for just a moment, but I'll clean my hands off and we will get working on the marinade. Pro stuff this, as you can tell. I've not thought to get two cameras just yet. Might be a good idea. There we go. Right. So, quick change. In fact, I was having such a... Mrs. Owl is entirely lovely. I was having a very difficult time at work because just the hours were bonkers. And she bought me a little present. And I'm absolutely overjoyed with it. Also, it's because I apparently keep the tea towel on my shoulder. And she can never get to it because I'm always here in front of the camera. So she got me one with my own branding. Look at that. Isn't it marvellous? I'm very easily pleased, as you'll find out. Things tickle me very much. Bad dad jokes will get me every time. So yes, that turned up today, and I was over the moon. Also, she's actually designed all the logos and things, so she's a very clever lady. So, yes, it wasn't a plug there. She just she's the arty and crafty one. I tend to bumble around the kitchen, occasionally getting things ever so slightly wrong. Oh, dear me. Oh dear. That's an old man back for you. I should perhaps have remembered. Yes, she is. She's very kind, very lovely. It perked my spirits up no end, and now here I am. And I get to chat to all of you lovely folk. So tell me, as I am interested, because I know you're all from. You can't host me. It's all right, Oscar. You're here, saying hello. It's of course it's fine. You can host me. It's a pleasure to chat to you. I'm imagining quite a few of you are from the Discord channel. Ozzy, that's very kind. Where's everybody from? Tell me your backgrounds. Tell everyone here. What does everybody do? Are you all streamers? You just like streaming? Or what sort of things do you do? Do tell me, because I, as well as cooking, we do variety computer games very badly indeed. So you're from Cumbria? Oh, Cumbria. Oh, I love Cumbria. Oh. I'm what can I say? I'm a bit of a bumpkin. I'm something for home vacations. Amsterdam. Oh well, I'll tell you something. We took my brother and now my sister-in-law for their combined stag and hen doing. We went through Amsterdam and went up to Zwolle and stayed in a lovely water tower that was renovated. But we weren't tourists in Amsterdam, I promise. But your Amsterdam is beautiful. What a lovely place. And everyone there is so incredibly friendly. Can't speak highly enough. Oh, not sadly, Noskia. Don't worry, the UK's got its own fair share of catastrophic leadership. Oh, no, let's not get political. No. Send me down a bad path there. I have had the absolute... And you're from Amsterdam too, 6 weeks. Oh, lovely. Super duper. So, yes, Amsterdam's lovely. I've only been once. I really must go again. And in fact, I've been very lucky in my life, actually. I've been able to travel to America on one occasion. But, as I'm reliably told, America does change quite a bit. And I had a colleague who went, and I described, where did I describe? New York, that was it. I was describing New York, so good they named it twice. And my experience of it. And she looked at me, utterly perplexed. Oh no, Toom, really? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, it won't be forever, folks. It won't be... Oh, I'm being bothered by a large fly. Go away. Shoot. Go on. Stay away from the Curie. Go on off with you. I want to go tomorrow and land in Amsterdam. Honestly, it won't last forever, folks. It won't. things will get better. They won't just go back to normal. They are going to be superb. We will come out of the back of this all the better. And yes, no festivals. My brother, in fact, did, I think, Download Online, did they do? A version of Download where no one could be there, but they sort of did it all online. Oh, sorry, I realise I'm nattering away. I'm not telling you what I'm doing. Starting with some ginger. We're then moving on to some Korean chili flakes, which we do have. We have also got, let's see, let's reset the scales here, a spot of soy sauce. So we want 60, and in case, I appreciate we've all sort of come and said hello via, oh, I'm so sorry, from Discord. We do have our own little Discord as well. I must admit, the one we were all in has got far more people, you may be unsurprised to know. But I do put up the recipes that we use in case anyone sees these and says, you know what, I fancy giving that a go, because I promise that this is straightforward. All of the techniques I'm doing now, I guarantee you can do on your own, no problem. And also we'll stick this video on YouTube, so if you ever want to come back and have a look, you absolutely can do. So, what do I do as work? Amazingly, and I promise I'm not being precious here, I can't tell you, I'm afraid. I promise that's not dramatic intrigue for nothing. It's because my job has a particular clause in it that involves working essentially for the public good. And the reason I keep my face off the camera and I don't really say what I do, it's a trap, it's a trap. I've got you all. I don't know what you're doing, but I have you all doing something. And all it is it means I can chat to you. So if someone happened to, for example, tell me a racy joke and I laughed, I don't have to feel bad about it. Also, I don't know how many people in this chat have ever told me a racy joke, seeing as we all like bad dad jokes. Oh, pardon me a moment. But it just allows me that little bit of freedom, which I must admit I do like. It may change in the future if I'm ever so very fortunate. Oh, black pepper. To do this full time, maybe I would change my opinion on it. But for now, what we're going to do is set up a webcam where we're at the computer to be the snack table. So there is going to be a video, there will be a webcam, there will be interaction, but an in real life stream. Was not expecting this at all. What were you expecting, Kubi? Is this what you wanted? You got a precious. Oh, you're very kind. And what do you prefer? NWKB. I'm going to get that to roll off my tongue. It's a tongue twister. NWKB. It sounds like a radio station, doesn't it? Nice to see you. Just lurking for now. No problem. We will see anytime you like, Kubi. And I shall be sure anyone who's here, I shall attempt to catch all of you, or lurk where I can if I'm at work, because it would be my absolute pleasure to do so. Now. We've got our rice wine, and we need 3. I've already put 1 in. I realised I was so happily nattering away there I forgot the other 2. Just put the other 2 in quickly. It's a tongue twister. NWKB, NWKB, NWKB. I nearly lost it at the end there, just for a moment. Right, finishing up. Really enjoying it. I'm really glad, Noskia. We do a lot of food, to be honest. We don't do as much gaming in comparison. And Alice is here. Alice is one of our regulars who stumbled upon us not by way of Discord. Hello, Alice. How are you? We are doing, as you can see from the title, pork in various different ways. So, for a start, I need to read my own recipe. We need a tablespoon and not a teaspoon of sugar. There's quite a bit of sugar in what we're doing today, so let's just keep that mixed in there. Twitch is not just gaming. I'm really glad you think so. I'm certainly glad. If you ever do see the gaming, it's very chilled and relaxed. It is an epitome and an example of how exactly not to do it. Alice, oh, I'm sorry. Is it as boiling as... Hang on, let me tell you how hot it is here. Wait a minute. Yes, it's 27 degrees inside and it's 7 o'clock. The British aren't made for this. We're just falling over and melting at this point. It's problematic. That's right. Have I remembered everything? We've got our soy sauce. We have our rice wine, sesame oil. Missed the sesame oil. Right, hang on. And we want 1 tablespoon of that. Now be careful with the sesame oil because it's quite a powerful flavour, and we're going to use it in the wok as well to cook. But there we go. That's it, really. Now I'm just going to. It's going to disappear off camera to my nose rather than vice versa. So let me just. I think that could do with a little bit more. Nosky, you're very kind. Oh, very kind indeed. Yes, I've seen Valorant. It reminds me of CS:GO, and the only reason I know that is my 2 brothers run rings around me, or did, and then I realised that perhaps that was not the game for me. Can you have a smell? Hang on, Nosky. Wait. Hang on. There we are. In fact, actually, let's just try and show you the general consistency. So it is thin. Don't be worried about that. But quite a bit of CS:GO and Overwatch mixed. Yes. Let me put it this way. If I could hit anything, I would be impressed. The last time we did a first-person shooter, that was the aim. Can I actually hit a person? The answer was no. Despite our very best efforts. Oh, dear me. Good. Right, we've got the Nosky approval on the smell. Let's get this in then. So that's going to be... And in truth, not a lot of pork there, once you've trimmed away the various bits and pieces, but that's okay, because we are quite a fan of the veg that goes with it, so actually let's be sensible here. Let's just turn that gently. So there we go. So in fact, I realise as well, I've turned the oven up a little high. I want this to cook a bit slower because pork has a little tendency to dry out. In fact, let's experiment with a technique on that one. Let's do a little experiment. Waffle is here. Hello, Waffle. Waffle is one of our regulars. He's an absolute star and a gent. He's helped me from everything from trying to create emotes to suggesting things for the channel. Waffle, we have a lot of lovely people here who've joined us from Discord channel of Twitch affiliate. Everyone say hello to Waffle. He's an absolute star. Also from America. And does, if I'm not mistaken, Nosky, some Valorant of his own. I have seen the man. He is he's a dead eye. He's what's that man in America who's a really good shot? The Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger? Is that right? I can't remember, you know. Anyway, right, we can put this one in. So this is just going in the fridge. There we go. And out we can bring American. Is that it? Ninja. Some I don't know, you know. There's not much left of it, but we'll get some out. That is our apple and sage butter. And the timer that went off a little while ago was for our cured pork. Now, here you go. The mixture, it's been in there just for 15 minutes. And we are going to cook that before we go any further so we can see what it's like. So, there's going to be a dramatic turn of the camera. I say dramatic, perhaps inept, I'm not sure. Hang on a minute, poor Mrs. Al is going to shoot me because she cleaned this kitchen from top to bottom and now I have been set loose in it. I have promised her, upon pain of death, it will, however, go back to the way it was. So there is that, my absolute guarantee and promise to her. So we've kept... Run! She will actually kill me. Except I'm going to make a very nice dinner and give her a foot rub in return. Now, I haven't used meat on this one, so I'm just going to pop that behind me, because that's going to be for our vegetables. Where are we from? Somewhere in the south. Is that me, NWKB? You're going to be the... Yes, I'm about to be filleted. Yeah, let's get this out. I am in the countryside in the UK. I'm not south, actually. I'm north. I'm very much north. So, as you can see, it's been in for a while. It clings to it. Big tip here, make sure you wash it off. Supposedly, yeah, is it long pork, the horrible phrase that is? This has given me an idea, actually. Hang on. Have I just had a good idea? A northern lad, born and bred. See Sean Bean. Right, I'm going to wash this off. Let's do one thing at a time. Hang on. So let's just lose the excess. Because otherwise, quite frankly, the flavour is just going to be completely overloaded. I'm going to just shift some of that to the side. And here we are. So what we have now is it's incredibly soft. And actually, if you look, fat almost becomes translucent. I'm not putting any pressure there. It's just falling apart. I'm well-travelled NWKB, and this is more talk radio than it is television, so one's voice must project rather nicely. Yes, I know I've been marvellously supported by all, and yourself included. So again, to everyone, thank you. I cannot stress it enough. You have all been utterly lovely. How are we for the average viewer count? Close, I think. I need to have a look at that. I tried to have a look at it today at work whilst I was sitting in other people's channels. And anyone, by the way, especially in the American side, Waffle streams UK time-wise, it's about 10 p.m. to 6 p.m. And I encourage you, and I needn't encourage you hard, to go and check out his thing. He's an absolute star. So I'm just going to very lightly season this indeed, just with pepper, because it's already had a bucket's worth of salt on it. I have made a mess of that. So let's fire up the griddle panel, and let's do a dramatic turn. Ooh, let's break the kitchen as well, apparently. Here we go. Now here's some professional stuff, folks. Wow, look at that. You never saw it coming, did you? Oh, oops. Sorry, that's earthquake camera stuff there. There we go. Welcome into the... Hang on, would it be better over here? No, it's a bit too close. Hang on, we'll pop it. Right, so, quick trick with this. Obviously with pork, do be careful. You want it cooked thoroughly. You don't want to undercook pork. But the fact is, this is very, very thin pork, especially... because I am now slightly off camera here, just pushing down, because I want to cook it quickly and give it a nice sear. Oh, Waff, you're being modest. I've seen you play. I know that you are the combination of the Lone Ranger and... somebody help me. Who's another American hero? Do we have our own pasta maker? We don't. But we are going to try and make it from scratch, because Mrs. Owl and I did on our honeymoon, and it was marvellous fun. So we are going to do that at some point, I promise. So I'm just going to let this heat up for a moment. So it seems to me that I'm very fortunate indeed in life, because all the people that I've met and chatted with on Discord have all been absolutely lovely. I think you're all absolute stars. And if you do ever want a quiet place of the Twitch world, I guarantee you this is likely to be it. So yes, sorry Waffle, in terms of making pasta, we went to Florence and had an absolutely marvellous time. What types of pasta? Big fan of lasagna. You will like what we're going to make. Tagliatelle, ravioli, I want to make gnocchi. Coming up, we're going to have Korean milk bread, which is, I think, the equivalent of a brioche. It's a very, very soft, light flavoured bread. We're going to give that a try. That's not pasta. I'm just suddenly getting excited and thinking of all the things we're going to do. Oh, right, we've got some sizzle. So let's pop up. There we go. That's the noise we want. As a tip, if anyone is perhaps junior or, not above 18, don't use your fingers like I'm doing. Please, please, please use a proper implement. You may burn yourself. The difference is I'm old, I've done it a lot, and if I'm silly, I've only myself to blame. So, do I have anything harder I can use to press down on this? Don't think I do. So, yes, there's going to be ravioli, there will be tagliatelle, there's going to be gnocchi. Dude, it builds character. It builds burns as well. I've still got one on my arm there. I've got another one on this arm. That was all on stream as well, perhaps being just ever so slightly idiotic. So let's just leave that there for a moment on the hottest part. I won't prod it and poke it too much. And whilst we're there, I'm going to do the slightly undignified job here of squishing some pork rind, although it is very, very hard indeed. I'm not sure this is going to work quite the way I had planned. We'll give it a shot. There we go. So, when you pan back, we'll demonstrate to you our attempt at turning an average bit of pork rind into some crackling. May or may not work. This is all experimental, and then we can all see whether or not this works together. Right, so that has been about, I would say, a minute. So, much as you would do, and I'm sorry if this is telling anyone to suck eggs, so to speak. When it comes to doing a steak, you're better off, wherever possible, oiling the meat, so don't do what I just did there for the pork, and let it cook quickly on a hot heat. So that's been about a minute. Oh, yes, I can imagine that, Noskia. I've never done fast food. I've done public houses. I've done restaurants. Ooh, ha. There we go. Ooh, that's sizzling. Tell you what, folks, it's a bit loud, but let's have a ringside look. There we are. Cooking very quickly indeed. There we go. Back where we were. Ooh. Ooh. Sorry, I've made us all wobbly. You can tell there's a lot of fat coming off because you can probably see underneath we're getting the spittles from the fat jumping off. Can you cook chicken pasta with hot sauce? I certainly can. I certainly can. In fact, we do a derivation of that already most days for lunch. Ooh. Ooh. There we go. Right, we've instantly got a lot of colour. I'm going to leave that on its end quickly just to... Yeah, absolutely Aussie. Chicken pasta, why not? Why not indeed? I'm a big fan of chicken. I'm a big fan of pasta. Let's just quickly... Right, that one's not got very much, so let's just take those two to the side. Let's get a little plate. Whip these off, they seem to be done. Bring that back round. Let's just get this last one with a... Woo! Woohoo! Quite a lot of colour. You should take suggestions from the crowd and try and cooking it. Absolutely... That's not what I do. We absolutely do, NWKB. In fact, we had a suggestion by Waffle. There it is. Yes, the chicken adobo. My goodness, and that was tasty. Oh, I loved the adobo. That was a marvellous suggestion. Right, let's pan you back round again, because just in a Blue Peter style way, here is one we made earlier. It's not really. I just did it whilst we weren't looking. So I'm using the cure on the top of it. I'm going to bash the excess off, and then we're going to put that and the standard pork straight into the oven. Is it really, Noskia? We're going to make it again. There's going to be another take at it because I followed the recipe, the best recipe I could find, and it wasn't the best one. And we're definitely going to have another shot at that because it was just divine. It was absolutely lovely. In that case, let us... What shall we do next? Oh, this is exciting. Right. Where's my nearest oven tray? It's over here. Hang on. Let's just quickly get this washed and deployed. It's the one tip I keep forgetting about my streaming is I always think I've got everything I need. You recommend I make sinigang? Now that sounds interesting. Tell us, Waffle, what's that? Just whilst I'm getting this loaded up and ready to go. In fact, because it's such a hot day, I shall make a public health suggestion, everybody. Have a sip of water. It's warm. Don't let yourself get dehydrated, especially if you're in a hot kitchen. It's a sour soup. Hello, you've piqued my interest, Waffle. Is it a monster? It's actually a peace lily. But good eye, nearly. Why partner is absolutely do. We're going to put up a suggestions box somewhere. I had one in the little street. Ooh, someone's driving by. They've gone again. Right, okay. We had a suggestions box, but it wasn't working brilliantly. It kept crashing. So I'm going to find a way to have some form of suggestions that we can effectively let you guys... That's exactly what I was wondering, Ozzy. If I had a suggestions channel, might be a good idea. So if people say, how about you try XYZ? Hello, King Fuzzy, how are you? We are doing pork 4 ways. The first was cured, and we're going to try that in just a second. This one is going to be seeing if we can produce effectively pork crackling. Don't know whether or not that will work, but we will see. I'm just going to knock off some of the excess here because there's quite a bit. It may be that just doesn't work at all and we just abandon that as well. I'll tell you the background, King Fuzzy, is I found 5 pork steaks for effectively 20p a steak, which is just a ridiculous price. And I just thought, and it's often the case, I think, no, these things shouldn't go to waste. So our first way is curing and cooking the pork. The second is turning some of the rind into crackling. The third is cooking it in a straight up way with sage and seasoning, and then adding to that sage and apple butter. And the last is going to be a marinade. Yes, it was about to go off, basically. For cracking, score the skin in a checkered board. Yes, I do the same. I do a diamond, so I do one that way and then the other that way on the other side. It shouldn't be that cheap. It shouldn't be allowed to go off. But when I do see it, I think, no, we will do something with it. So, this is me when I look at pork. This one, I'm going to do plain. I'm going to season the rind here. So I'm going to just drop that straight in to the pan. Where's my sage? Hang on. Well prepared as ever, folks. Well prepared as ever. Where have I left it? Hang on. Let's have a look. Hang on. Basil, mint, sage. There we go. The sage ultimately won't stay there as a flavour, but it will be useful whilst we're cooking it. So what I'm going to do is basically wrap this, I'm going to lie this on it, and then when we're done, we'll just take it off. So let's just wrap the edges of the fat in sage. We'll put some with the meat as well. I made a mistake. We did a little while ago burger sliders, some mini sliders, and I used sage as one of the herb seasonings, and unfortunately it just didn't work at all. I really should eat this quite quickly because it doesn't go. Hang on, yes, I'm getting distracted. Let's see, folks, if this has, firstly, has this cooked through the middle? There we go. Yes, it has. Right, let me tell you if it's worked, because I've never done this before. So let us see if we had a success. Oh. Folks, if I could send this to you if you're nearby, I would send you, some of you lovely people, some of this pork. Yes, that does work. I can report back, folks. It works as well for beef as it does for pork. That will go on our little Discord. There'll be a There's a channel there. It's got all of our recipes going up. So if you ever happen to see discounted meat, now you can look back on this video. You can see how to do a curing, and you can do yourself some cured pork. I'm really pleased at that because for no reason. One, we've not done it before. Two, I've only ever done it with beef. I've just made you hungry. I'm sorry. I said, what time is it where everyone is? Are you approaching your various your dinner times? Are you? We've got 9 minutes. Oh, how lovely! Oh, it's smashing. Well, you are all most welcome, and I'm very, very grateful. So it's 8:30 where you are. Oh, it's dinner time. Grab yourself something to eat. Absolutely. Never cured pork except to make bacon. Well, there we go, Alice. Here's a different take on it. It does work. I think maybe I could do without the fat. Then again, it's pretty tasty. Right. Stop eating in front of people. Do some actual streaming. Hang on. And I'm still reticent to use the tea towel that Mrs. Al so kindly got for me, just because I don't want to sully it. It's so lovely. Right, here we are. I will let her see. We say eat. Hang on. Eats make luck. Eats make luck. Did I say that right? Here we are. So I'm just doing that on the fat. I'm probably going to... No? Have I completely missed the point? Sorry. I belong from the 1800s. I'm here only by fluke in a time machine. So there we go. That's going to go in. We've got 10 minutes on the curing, so we can... On the marinade, sorry, so we can check on that in 10 minutes. Yes, I've completely missed the point there, haven't I, folks? That's very much my forte, I think, in various stages of life. Let's do a quick clean-up. So we don't need... You say E, but you say it like Atty. So... Attis Makluk. No, 8. Oh, 8! Oh, God. Sorry. Oh, God, now it's disappearing up the chat. I can't see it anymore. Hang on, wait. Hang on, back up we go. Hang on, 8. 8 make... Look. 8 make Luke. Yes. Yes. Let's all just assume that I got that right, shall we? Oh, dear me. Right. Quick clean down for round 2, and then poor Mrs. L. It's Dutch for enjoy your meal. I have just desecrated a beautiful language for which I wholeheartedly apologise. Oh, God. Oh, dear me. Dear me. Linguistics was never my thing. You can definitely spot me when I'm abroad. Yes, it's that man that can't ever speak the local lingo, who does his best. He does his very best, but you can spot that he's not from around there. That's a warm word. Hello, RC and KP. Everyone, this is RC and KP. KP, my best man, one of my oldest friends. The man who is intent on breaking my veil of anonymity every time we play a computer game by roaring my name at me with passion and fire in his voice, and then goes... Oh, shoot. Am I the one that speaks loud? I would think that's KP. Roaring at me to stop what I'm doing. Yes, if you've ever seen the computer game Blackwake, this is a man that showed off the first time he ever played it and leapt from the boat onto the other boat, killed everybody whilst I fell into the sea. Oh, it's just RC. I say just. We have the better half of the RC-KP combination. The only one that gets anything done. Without him. Without RC. KP would be floundering. He's going to make me regret saying all of these things. He's going to make me regret them. Oh, goodness gracious me. Right, let's get on to... Let's move that out of the way. let's promise Mrs. L the kitchen will be an absolute paradise. Let's try a bit more of this pork. Let's see. Yes, I think maybe you could do without the fat. Personal choice maybe, but you end up, even with the fat though, it is, I mean, I'm barely, there's no force required. It falls apart. Falls apart in your hand. I've got to stop doing that. Mrs. Al might want some. She's going to come down and find that I've eaten everything. Oh, goodness me. Right. Round 2. Maybe my favourite bit. What do I use to stream? I use Streamlabs. Although this is just through my mobile phone. Mrs. Al is putting her feet up, RC. Long day for her, so she's just having a little rest. I can just see RC saying he curses my name frequently. He does. He does. I'm the same in the kitchen. I have to stop munching, so I actually have to... Yes, it's the thing is that you cook and you cook and you cook, and then you realise I've just been eating along the way. It's all gone. Oh, goodness gracious me. Right. Here we are. Possibly my favourite bit of a stir fry. I think I'm very lucky, Nosky. I have got very lucky. It hasn't really lagged for me very much. Wow, 11 of you. I'm deeply flattered. I really am. It is honestly the most bumbling, quiet corner of Twitch, and the fact you're here is simply marvellous. I'm eternally grateful. Thank you very, very much indeed. And I shall enjoy reciprocating in kind as soon as I absolutely can. So this, again, the lovely thing about stir fry is it really is vegetable of choice. It's whatever you feel like. And what we've got in, just check we're all right. Actually, before I forget, this is all locally grown. Let's all give it a wash. Hang on. There we go. Good idea. Let's keep our food fresh. It's the pork. Yes, I'm losing the plot. Hang on. Here we go. So, easiest bit I think of tonight's preparation. In fact, I'm just thinking, have I forgotten any of the pork? Hang on. Cured, crackling, plain, marinade. That is 4 ways, yes. Going mad here. There's another thing I'd send the fat in the mail, please. Certainly, we shall. I had wondered about this. You know, those machines where you can vacuum pack. I have a feeling they're quite expensive. But I can simply recommend go and find a nice cut. It is one of these things. It's if you have it not very often, certainly leave the fat on. Make sure you rend it down. No one really likes chewy fat. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do. But if you want the healthy version, which is what the stir fry is going to be, you can lop it off. I'm in fact going to peer into the oven quickly. We are making progress with the crackling. I have a feeling it may not go all the way though. So hang on. So let's take our vegetables to one side. Oops. Sorry folks. Hang on. Wait a minute. What's this for? What did I get that out for? Just quietly. What I wanted a rolling pin for. If you like the melt in the mouth, Nuskia, one thing I can definitely suggest is do the pork as a pork belly. Yes, I spot it is indeed a rolling pin. Yes, Waffle, fear for me. Fear for me, I have created a quite frankly biblical mess. It's not so much what it was, RC KP's, or RC indeed, even as KP's asleep. I just can't remember why I got it out. I got it out for a reason. What it was, however, eludes me. Eludes me entirely. There we go. I've just remembered I missed a bit off the marinade. I can put it in straight into the stir fry. It'll be alright. Wasn't it? Ah, NWKB has it. Maybe that's why it's not. You have the nail on the head. NWKB's got it. Maybe that's why it's not working. I may have forgotten to flatten it. Let's assume for the moment, good folk, that the crackling is not going to work. The problem was user error. Rewind, hang on. Go backwards, hang on. I'll just come back out with some more pork right now. Yes, it's the wondering of what I had the similar moment making the sliders when the spatula broke. I didn't quite know what to do with the evidence. I suppose again the PEBCAC problem exists between keyboard and chair. I'll have to change it for this. Problem exists between chopping board and sink. Problem exists between PEBCAS. PEBCAS instead. Yes. Yes, the moment where the penny drops and you go, ah. I have found the problem in the equation. The chemical equation of the problem is Me1. That would be me. Oh dear. However, given that it is only 20p a pork steak, hopefully I can be forgiven, given this small flaw. Oh yes, RC and KP when he wakes up. Gift from Mrs. Owl, having had a very long week, difficult times. I have my first piece of official merchandise. I'm over the moon. I'm very easily pleased. Oh, and Nosky, you're very kind. Thank you. I'm very new to this, but I've found chatting to lovely folk is a reward unto itself. And isn't it good, Waffle? She is very clever. It's just as well one of us in the equation is, really. Yes, I fall back upon her beauty and her brains and talent. I'm not really quite sure what I'm doing here. You want one? I'm sure we can sort something, King Fuzzy. I'm sure we can. I saw she made a new logo. She has. Yes, making coffee is the new one. In fact, we put up her various artwork around. I'll put it on our Instagram one actually afterwards. She's done us for our little coffee machine. A little, I'll have to blur some of it out because it's got our names on it, but she's got a frame and she's got all of our, don't do yourself down, well, honesty I suppose is the best. Oh, hang on, why are we beeping? It's stir fry time nearly, that's why. Right, okay, so, got a lovely helping of veg there. Can I purchase it? I'm sure we can work it out, Nuskia. I'm sure we can work, I don't even know where she bought, I don't know how she did it. Oh, yes. Overcooked. We've reached a point, Waffle, where we played it offline. I'll tell you this just before I go and grab the next bit that I need. Where it was so complicated, we played for 30 minutes and we both gave up in a strop. We just couldn't do it. But we're going to have to go back and work it out. Noskia, you can. I will work something out. Maybe we can. I never really thought of selling merch, as I know it is called, or merchandise if you're using the full Queen's English. But I'm sure we could do something. I just don't know where she did it. She's terribly clever. It surprises me with these things. Not her intellect, of course, just where it all comes from. Now, most stir fries not really complete without an onion. Let's do one of those as well. So yes, we have a bit of a variable schedule, but I can tell you that coming up we are going to have at various stages. We're going to do miniature burger sliders Mark II. We're going to improve upon particularly the chili recipe, which didn't really work. The herb recipe, we're going to lose the sage. And we're just going to tweak and play with the notions in it. We've got the Korean milk bread. And as I said to Waffle, I'm still trying to perfect everything and get everything in line. If we're fortunate enough to reach that affiliate stage, there's going to be some emotes. I don't know how to make them. I'm still working that out. We will do a banquet based upon various streamers as they have... Hello, Thonygun. How are you? I like it. What's up, greeting. What is up is many versions of pork and your excellent presence. Thank you ever so much for coming by and saying hello. Much appreciated. We will be doing a menu based upon various, I can't do everybody, but I'm going to look through the lovely people that form our little community, and we shall do a menu. Oh, hang on. Try Redbubble. They might have tea towels. You just put the design in the order. Okay, right. I won't ask her because you'll see, well, then you'll know how much I spent on the gift. But she does all the designs, so I mean, that's her design. The logos are her design. A medieval... I tell you what, Arcee, if we get to the point, it seems impossible to say, but at partnership, I will produce, shall we say, a medieval... That car's back again. Thank you. We shall produce as close to Michelin star as we can do. By that point, I should have improved, put bluntly. But the various techniques like tempering and producing that finesse, if we get to that level, let's say here and now that is what we will do. But before then, I shall try and devise a recipe based upon some of the familiar faces and new faces, and we shall do cooking inspired by things they have done, or things that they like. I already have a good few ideas on that point. Tempering is mad. Yes, when I first try that, I shall do it on stream. There may be polite cussing. Can't promise anything. And since my nieces have occasionally appeared in this channel, I shall have to mark it as mature, just in case. Oh God, it beeped, didn't it? Hang on. How are we doing with this pork? Whoops, it's beeping at me is what we're doing. Okay, there's a nice smell of sage coming out. Not like... That's part of the fun, isn't it, Alice? Certainly not on a day like this, where temperature is the death. The absolute death of tempering. I know that much. If not much else. Let's have a look, shall we, and see about the marinade. What are we doing on that? Let's have a look. Here we go. Let's have a... The smell... Here we are. Smell-o-vision, everybody. Here we are. Quality programming, this. A close-up of meat. The smell is gorgeous. This should, hopefully, do very, very well indeed. Fingers crossed. Right. I tell you what, folks, again, if you've not had a drink of water for a while, here's a friendly health advisory. Do have some. It is very, very warm today. Smells good. I'm glad we're all on board. Let's do this thing, shall we? In fact, I shall just give Mrs. Owl a little call and let her... Oh, hang on, where's my wok gone? Oh, the massive wok behind me wasn't a giveaway. Right, so we've got pork going in the oven. That may take a little while. Let's just spin us around. I'm going to hazard a guess. Most people here know a little bit about food here and there. Sorry about the earthquake-esque moving of the camera. Apologies for that. So there we go. I'm scoffing on watermelon. Oh, watermelon on a day like today. Oh, Arcee, you are winning. That is success in a bucket. Marvellous plan. Success in a bucket? What kind of phrase is that? I don't think anyone's ever described anything as success in a bucket. Right, okay. First tip for this is, many of you know, sorry if this is stating the obvious, get it really hot first. And close the window if there's a massive draft that's threatening to blow out the gas. Hang on. Ooh, let's bring that close. Now, the only thing I forgot was garlic. So, I'm going to take... This is... Oh, hang on. Am I going to take, or has that gone off in the heat? Hang on, let's... Create your own kitchen... Ooh! Don't look at this now, but when you finish your stream, I shall have a look. Thank you, NWKB. I'm still doing that quickly to get the tongue twister. Has anyone ever done... Was it I am the very model of a modern Major General. Is anyone here a fan of Gilbert and Sullivan? Or am I again perhaps demonstrating my age? Hang on, is this garlic all right, or is this a bit past the pale? No, that looks okay. Right, let's just use these ones here. In fact, I can hear Mrs. Owls on the phone, in fact. That's where she is. I can hear her upstairs. Gilbert and Sullivan, it's theatre, so... Ooh, that's actually so hot it's steaming, so let's just quickly... Oh, hang on. Are they... Do you know what? I'm actually going to leave the garlic out because it's questionable and it's squishing in my hand, so I'm not too fond of that. So let's just use some sesame wok oil. Let's open the sesame wok oil first. Come on. Oh, that's rubbish. Oh dear. Right, hang on. Ah, there we go. We have sesame wok oil, folks. There we go. Right. So, no, Gilbert and Sullivan, if you, it's like HMS, ooh, Pinafore, and things like that. Ooh, that's hot. Ooh. There we go. Oops, so easy. Bang, crash, pop. So, we want this high heat, cooking quickly. Put the onion in so it's nice and soft. Beautiful flavour. It is, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. It gives that... It's hard to describe to those that don't use it. I say we, recently discovered, yes. The smell is divine. It really is. I never understand TV chefs that say they don't understand, they call it fawning over ingredients and saying, why do you think it's so nice? Well, it is. It's alright, just eat it. Also, if you are a child and you are watching stream on your own, please don't put your hands in a hot wok. Not a good idea. I am old. I am beyond being taught these things. Oh, I'll tell you something, the chili is making my eyes go funny. Right. Leave it on the heat as much as I can. Sorry if the fan causes a little bit of a dim. Yes, this is a do as I say, don't do as I do moment. We'll have to go back to the window. I think that's the man has asbestos. It's a terribly unfortunate accident when I was a sewer worker. I've ended up with hands of asbestos, literally. I could poison a man at 2 places. There we are. So, mostly because it's one of my favourite seasonings. Let's throw in as well a little bit of pepper. Let's hope the flame stays up. Oop. Just about. Just a little bit there of pepper. Try and clean the pepper, having made it terribly greasy. There we go. Right. What is my favourite ever dish? That's a really good question. Oh, my favourite ever dish. My brain just exploded with possibilities there. Well, having had a terribly... I really am going to have to close the window. Sorry, apologies if you can't hear because I've put the extractor fan on. Do tell me and I'll work something out. However, it's so windy that it's threatening to... Yes, as Alice says, careful now, because I may offend my mother at some point. Do you know, I genuinely don't know. I've been very, very lucky in having a wide variety of food over my life. Favourite ever dish? It's fine with the sound? Jolly good. The lamb keema. Oh yes, RC and KP make a marvellous lamb keema. Very, very good. I think... I think... jerk pork. I think honestly, if I had to pick one dish, it would have to be a family-based Christmas dinner. Because there is with food, there's an awful lot of memory that goes with it. It's not just obviously the taste and the smell, and there's a lot of experience that goes with it. So when you think, what's your favourite meal? The reason I struggle is I instantly went to my favourite memories that go with food. And I'm very lucky indeed. I have marvellous memories of family Christmases. When you said that, for example, I thought, NWKB, of a time that Mrs. Owl and I had road trips around the country. And one of my favourite moments, I think possibly ever, was the moment I got to propose to her. Because we proposed on a beach in Cornwall. I say we, I did. And afterwards we had the most absolutely divine fish and chips with a beer. Now I can't tell you whether or not it was the best ever fish and chips I've ever had, or if it's just the memory of the occasion. All I can remember is, when I think of exceptional food, I think of moments like that. I think, for example, of... Oh, it was fish and chips again. I went to Whitby. In fact, Mrs. Owl has just joined us in the background. Hello. Mrs. Owl's not for the camera today. She's been busy. She's relaxed. However, we may need your opinion on some pork at some point. Yes, one of my, and also another one which we shared with RC and KP. Was when actually we had our tasting for our wedding venue, and actually the food was awful. It was terrible, but I remember it very fondly because thankfully now RC is here as the brains behind the operation, but Mr. KP had forgotten that he was meant to be there, and then neglected to tell me that he was celebrating a particular anniversary with RC. I shake my head off camera. He's a marvellous gentleman. Sometimes, however, common sense escapes him, as he nearly forgot to conclude that rather relevant nugget of information to me. But I will have there will be, I'm sure, if I think about it, NWKB, a specific meal which on a culinary basis is my absolute favourite. But for me, a lot of it is for example, I will remember I shall remember this stir fry for having the privilege and enjoyment of chatting to everyone as I made it. I think that's a really nice thing about food and experimenting. There's a social element to it. It's the same with you're struggling to hang on, is it RC or put KP back on the spot again? He's also going to make me regret that as well. Let's just see how our vegetables are cooking. Nice and crunchy. I'm going to leave that for a minute. Let's turn us around, folks, because that's nearly done. And I did, my love, I promised that the kitchen will be returned to its resplendent glory as soon as we are done. I have been told, if not, I may be turned into the pork that I was just cooking. Do you need some water? Pardon me for a moment, folks, just 1 second. Because it was blowing out the flames, but we're going to turn that off now. So, yes, I'm going to be the... yes, if it's not clean, you are entitled to cure me and stick me in a pan. Right. There we go. Right, folks. I may have to, in due course, put the photographs of the pork up on our Instagram and or Discord, because we are ready with our dinner, and the pork is taking a while. I can report that the crackling is not going well. I'll see you next time at WKB. Thank you again for joining us. I will see you next time. I shall see you online as well sometime too. Now, our rice has been ready for a little while, so let's grab some of that, put it into bowls. Here we go. A little off-screen preparation, because at that point, folks, it'll be toodaloo from us as well until next time. So I've just plate this up and we will show you our finished article. Now, prime, I would suggest highly using sushi rice. It's got that lovely sticky element to it. So let's just bowl together. Little off-camera work here. I promise it's the same meal. I'm not just whipping it out of the fridge. Here we are. Perhaps a last little touch here. Looks great, but always means it's almost the end of the. I'm sorry, Waffle. There we are. A couple of sesame seeds on top. And there we are, folks. We've now accomplished pork 4 ways. Here's the final version. Marinade as a stir fry. Got cured here. We will do one at some point, Noskia. But for now, also because I think the temperature around here is about 50 degrees. So we're going to, I think, eat at the table for tonight. But I appreciate, I've said it before, thank you all ever so much for coming and joining us tonight. It has been lovely to chat to you all, our regulars and our newcomers. I do hope to see you all again in the future. I know I will. I shall be coming and finding those of you that also stream to come and say hello and see how you're doing. And sometime this week, thank you Noskia, and thank you Alice, and thank you RC and KP, and thank you Waffle as well. There will be Korean milk bread. There's going to be sliders. Six Queen, thank you for following us there. I can see that's just popped up. You're an absolute star. So we're going to have a variety coming up. Hope to see you all then. Thank you again. Cinegang, absolutely. I'm going to go and look that up, as well as the film Chef, which has been recommended to us. But until then, everyone, have an absolute marvellous... What day are we? Thursday. That's it. Have a marvellous rest of Thursday. I hope your Fridays are excellent, and we will see you again very, very soon. We will also let you know on Instagram how the last bit of pork went. I can tell you the crackling has failed. It's appalling. Take care, everyone. See you again soon. Can you go on very quickly? Hang on. I'm now going to make all of you go off your respective dinners. Let's just say it's white, gelatinous goop. It didn't work. This one's not doing too badly, though. Put it back in there. Oh, dear me. You'll eat it, Noskia. I'll backpack it for you. Oh, lovely. Right, take care, everyone. Have a lovely evening. See you again soon. Bye for now.